Linda Stevenson from the Villages, Florida.
Oh, okay. A distant relative. So I think we're about ready, are we not? Okay, I think we're getting close, are we not, Carla?
We're good on time.
Okay, if you're ready, I'm ready. I'll go ahead and get started. Pratik, if you can handle the incoming people, we'll get started. Good evening, good evening. Hello, Lions of all ages. My name is Lion Richard Stevenson from District 21 South in Arizona, and I'm with the South Tucson Lions Club, and we're here tonight. I'm also with the Global Lions Forum, which most of you have found this particular class to be on. So welcome. And we have with us tonight Carla Arvizu, who's a Leo Lion who started in Cananea, Mexico, in Sonora. And she's going to tell us about young people and social media. And as I mentioned earlier, she was unaware of what a 3.5 floppy disk was. So this is obviously just the new stuff. And we've asked her to tell us how do we get younger people interested in lions, and she's going to tell us about Instagram and Facebook. Lion Carla, oh, we're going to mute everyone. If you have questions, ask it in the chat. And if it touches everyone, what we'll do is we'll ask it verbally to Carla. If it's just a one-off question, we can try to answer it in the chat for you. Thank you so much, Lion Carla. It's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Richard. Well, like Richard said, I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to share a little bit of my knowledge with you all and really just grow in knowledge together. So thank you all for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started with Facebook and Instagram and what marketing is and how to market for your specific Lions Club. So first, a little bit about me. Richard already explained a little bit of who I am, but I am also a student at the University of Arizona, so I am based in Tucson. So I am also a member of the South Tucson Lions Club. I am doing my master's in accounting currently, but I do come from not a long line of Leos, but a long time of Leos back in Mexico in 2017. So I'm really excited to now be on this side and be continuing my journey as a lion. So first, we're gonna get started. So before we get into what Instagram is and what Facebook is, I wanted to talk a little bit of what social media in general is. So first we have connection. Social media talks about three different distinct points, and we're gonna talk on connection first. So we don't always see each other, but we keep up with updates, events, and conversations. So connection is really important part of who we are and who we grow to be as individuals, as human beings. We want to connect with others. We want to grow our network. So we want to keep up with each other and have that conversation. The second part of social media is visibility. Now, let's remember that the media that we're seeing is social, and we want to be seen throughout everything that we do. So, we want to show the world what Lions is all about and attract those that want to be a part of it. So, it's not just about doing what we do, but it's also about being able to show the world the impact that we make. And that actually transitions to our third bullet point, which is impact. We want to make sure that we celebrate our impact. We're doing all these things and we're making sure that we're being seen, but we also have to celebrate ourselves because our projects are worth sharing. so we inspire others and remind ourselves of the good that we are doing and why we're here for it. We're here to share, we're here to do, and we're here to bring change to the world. Now, as a preface, I wanted to say that social media can be scary at times because we don't potentially know what we're getting into. But I just want to, as a reminder, let you all know that this is not something particularly new. So I know that is, like Richard mentioned right now before the call even started, I grew up with a laptop under my wing. But it's really interesting, though, that the internet has actually been around since the 1980s and it actually gained popularity in the 1990s. So this is not something new, and this is not something that you should be afraid about. Yes, it's a little bit different with the older and younger generations, but we can all work together to be able to understand it and not fear it, but use it to our advantage. With that, Facebook was actually created in 2004, and Instagram was created in 2010. So it is a little bit different in terms of space and time, but they both serve the same purpose. And we're going to talk a little bit more about their popularity further in the class. So on average, in the early 2025s, I thought it would be really important to share and really actually like a fun fact, say that 73% of Americans are using some kind of social media, either being on Instagram, on Facebook, on any other platforms, but 73% of everybody in America uses social media. So if we are not present in social media, that means that we're missing out on that 73%. So once again, present. We want to be present, we want to be visible, we want to share our impact. So presence is key. And the purpose of it is to consistently show and understand what we do. As an example, I know a couple people here might not be from Arizona or might not be from the United States, but I wanted to use the Arizona Lions brand as an example and as to share our presence on social media. So this is the Lions on Facebook. We have two forums that are one of the biggest forums. We have the Arizona Lions Forum, which is kind of like your local hub, your neighborhood board, where you're going to see any updates, reminders, and this is just a place to ask questions. This is where you can interact with others, do discussions, share your projects, and get feedback on them as well. So think of it as your little group of friends that can help you grow. On the same path, a lot of you come from the Global Lions Forum, and we're so happy to have you here. And this page, for those that don't know, is a little bit bigger. So it's global. We actually have people from all around the world, which is super exciting to be able to get that intake from people all over the world that are on the same mission. And I think it's pretty darn cool. So let's remember that these forums are that neighborhood board, which means that we're talking internally. So that means that these forums are only from lion to lion. It's a B2B business. I'm using my accounting lingo here, but it's a B2B. So you're leveraging that connection that you have as a lion to be able to get those questions answered, to be able to get reminders and ideas to grow. So this is a little bit more internal. Now, we do have another page for those that are from Arizona, and more specifically, the 21 South District. This is a public page. So this is to showcase our projects not only internally, but also externally to those around the community, around our neighborhoods. And it's a great resource to stay in touch with your Southern Arizona district, the 21 South. Now, this is a plug. Anybody that wants to follow us, go ahead and follow us. At the end of the day, we're here to grow our network. But as you can see right here, something that I really wanted to highlight is that in this specific page, we have 8,000 followers. And that just shows the difference between having that interaction and being able to share with others, because it's not only internal, but it's actually external, and you can leverage that as well. Now, something that I wanted to touch on is what we do versus what we show. So we were talking about in the beginning about visibility. We want to be seen, we want to be present, and we do a lot of stuff. We do projects, we do meetings, we have guest speakers, we do all kinds of social and fundraising events. We're not just sitting down in our desks. We're actually going out and participating in the community and bringing in more stuff and being out there. So why not show that in our media as well? It's not like we're not doing it. It's not like we're just sitting back. We're actually out there. So we have to show it as well. It's different. So I'm part, like I mentioned, and Richard is part as well of the South Tucson Lions Club. And I wanted to take two posts that we recently shared about what we do. And something as simple as, oh, we had a meeting. So we went ahead and posted it, our meeting, and we had a special guest, which it was such an honor to have Joe Montag from the Melvin Jones Memorial join us at one of our meetings this last, I think it was 2 weeks ago. But it was really nice to just be able to showcase it to the whole audience, showing that we don't only do, but we also want to show. And then another one that we have right here is the Ronald McDonald House. So this is a great example of a project that we're out there doing, but we're also going ahead and showing what we do, because that is how we get an entry to bring more people in. If we don't show it, if we just do in the back end, we never see what's going on in the front, and we never expand. So we talked a little bit about Facebook. We're going to get a little bit more into Instagram, but I wanted to touch on where brands start. So first off, we're Lions. Everybody has heard of Lions, or at least some people around the world do. So where does our brand start? How do people get to that knowing of who Lions is? So what's the first thing I want you to think? What is the first thing you check when you hear about a new product or a new service and you need a recommendation? You want to know more about this. You want to see what the benefits are, the cost benefit analysis. You want to hone in into the product or service. Well, I can tell you what I do. I go in and I Google it. I'm like, what can it bring me? What can it do? Where can I find it? Who do I contact if I want to buy the product or if I want to contract a service? So I go online. And being completely honest, when I first moved to Tucson, Arizona, I didn't really know where to look for a Lions Club. I was looking online. I couldn't find any presence. I was looking on Instagram, which was the first place that I went to. And I couldn't find them on there until I had to contact a friend of a friend. So it's all a chain reaction. You go online and you look for these things. And more than 7 out of 10 people, like we mentioned, the 73%, are already online. They're already on social media. And the majority of these, two of the biggest players on the media platforms are Instagram and Facebook. And that's one of the things that I was talking to Richard about. What platform should we bring? What platform should we showcase? And a lot of you may have Facebook already, but younger audiences, you are going to find that younger crowd on Instagram or on new emerging social media platforms. And that's the target audience that we want to go for. So first, I wanted to touch on Facebook. Now, I understand that some of you do have Facebook and do understand the concept of Facebook, but we want to look at how to create a page, navigating a post, and how to post, really understanding the overarching theme of what Facebook is and how we can leverage it. Now, we talked about two key differences earlier in the video, and I gave a couple of examples, but there's one big overarching difference. What is a group versus a page? Now, you can have both. You can have both types on Facebook, but I'm going to showcase a couple of key differences. So a group is kind of like a private meeting room. You have that discussion element, you have that answering. It's kind of like the examples that I gave at the beginning, the Global Lions Forum and the Arizona Lions Forum. This is strictly business to business, lion to lion. So you get to leverage that internal network. This is a space for members to interact, post, ask questions, and share photos. So if you have a group, that's great. That's for your club. You are able to communicate with your club internally or with other lions across the board. What you do want to have, aside from a group, is a page. So you want to have a page because pages represent an organization, a business, or your club. Your club is a business, it's an organization that you're trying to work up and you're trying to showcase in. And the difference between these is that pages are public facing. So you have updates and photos, events and announcements, and it is managed by administrators from your club. But like I mentioned, it's public facing. Now, why do you want to have a page over a group? Well, because a page is a business to consumer. It's external. You want to share. When you showcase, you want to tell the community what you're doing. And this way, you're going to allow for the community to just come in and follow you and see what you do rather than having an internal discussion, which you can also leverage, but a page is for the community. So if you don't have a page yet, I encourage you to start one because this is how people are going to find you. Now, I'm briefly going to touch over this. If you don't have a page, I also have a couple of links and tutorials at the end of the presentation, which is going to be emailed out to you. But this is how you create a page. You create a new, it doesn't have to be a profile. You can use your Facebook profile. You just have to create a page under your profile that you're going to manage. So you create a profile and you want to make sure it is a public page. So you have a public facing audience. Okay, so now to the good part. Exploring different channels. Maybe a couple of you already on the call have a page. You're like, Carla, I already know what a Facebook is. I already been through it. We're trying to post, or maybe you don't even have a Facebook page, but that is okay. But this is exploring different channels. So you do have a freedom to choose the platform that you want. You can stay on Facebook, or you can choose another platform as well and merge both. This is about merging both. One is not more important than the other. It's just about reaching different target markets. So it will be difficult a little bit. Everything new in the world is a little bit difficult when we start off, but that doesn't mean it has to be super, super challenging. And the good thing is that Facebook and Instagram are actually already connected. They're all under the same umbrella and you can leverage that. You can use that to your advantage. So it might be a little less difficult to be able to get into it. Okay, so why use Instagram? Why is Instagram? Why are you talking about Instagram? Why is it important? Well, there's three main things. It is a visual storytelling platform. So you are able to share stories through photos and videos that catch people's attention instantly. This is not just about a discussion post or a quick question on Facebook. This is about being able to tell a story through a picture and attract younger audiences. With that, you're going to reach younger audiences. And believe me, coming from myself, we are trying to reach younger audiences through Instagram, and it has become one of the best places to connect with younger people. And this way, you can invite those younger people to be fresh faces in your club. You want them to be a part of it. You want to bring those new, and it goes hand in hand actually with one of our missions, one of our key missions, Mission 1.5. So it's reaching that younger audience while also contributing to that mission. We want new voices in our clubs because we want to keep on growing. So why not bring us with you? And then the third thing is that it is actually part of Meta. So Meta is a company that actually bought Instagram and Facebook and put them under the same umbrella. So whenever you hear Meta, I personally think of like metaverse. So it means like it has everything, or meta law, that it is everything under it. So you can think of it as an umbrella, and that connection allows you to post on both platforms at the same time. So it allows you to be in one platform and in another and coexist between the two in a much more seemingly way, rather than going on Instagram and posting something and then going on Facebook and posting something. So it reduces that challenge of you having to really go into it. So when I was doing this presentation, I came across a couple of research points, and I thought it was super exciting to just share what these are. So all I hear all the time across my friends, across the university, across the younger crowd, is that Facebook is dying. Facebook is just there. We don't really use Facebook in the younger audience. It's more for older generations, and we don't really go into it. But the reality is that I still have my Facebook. I still go in and check my Facebook. Facebook is kind of just open in the background for me. So Facebook is not going away. If you have ever heard that Facebook is just older and no one really cares about it anymore, let me tell you what, over the last 3 years, well, 2022 is not on here, but that's because they took a media break. Facebook has been around the 70% of usage between adults 18 to 29, which I think is great. I mean, I use Facebook. I go in and look for things on Facebook. So you can hear it from me. It is not going away. It is steady and probably not gaining a lot of new audience, but it is steady and it's usually running in the back end. But it is also important to consider other competitors, like, for example, Instagram. I think it was super interesting to see how Instagram from 2021 to 2024 increased from 40 to almost 60%. So as you can see, other platforms are skyrocketing and getting more constant, more new people. So it is skyrocketing, it is increasing, there's younger audiences on it, and we have to take advantage of that. Yes, we're steady on Facebook, but we also are able to post on both. So why not take advantage of that? And the third point right here is LinkedIn. For those that don't know, LinkedIn is a professional platform where people usually do job searches or more professional posts. But for essence of this class, we're not going to be touching on LinkedIn, or at least not yet. Maybe in the future, we'll come back to another class, but right now, let's just focus on Facebook and Instagram. So good stuff. Going into Instagram. Maybe you have heard of Instagram, maybe you haven't heard of it, but Instagram is one of, like I've mentioned throughout this whole presentation, one of the social media platforms that is gaining a lot of traction around younger crowds. So we're going to touch on a couple of things that might be good to know for Instagram, like any key features that it has, what makes it different from Facebook, how to actually create a profile and link it to your Facebook page, and just understanding the platform overall. Because, like we mentioned at the beginning, might be something new. It might be something that you weren't familiar with, and that is okay. That is what we're here for, to be able to learn about this resource and how we can leverage it for each one of our clubs. So first off, I am using throughout this whole slideshow my club, South Tucson Lions, and I'm just using them as an example. But let's imagine this is your club You are trying to create a new Instagram. You are trying to gain more traction for your club and increase your network. So how do you access Instagram? Instagram, you can see it either on your computer or on your phone. So you're going to be able to see the same format on the computer than on your phone. It's pretty much really similar, as you can see in these two images right here. However, it is more common for people to be on their phones and use the access through the app rather than scrolling on their computer. And you're not just here to learn about what Instagram is, but you're also here to learn about some lingo, to be able to fit in the crowd and sound cool while you share what you're learning today. So Instagram is usually more known as Insta. People use Insta. Instagram sounds too long for the younger crowd, so I guess we'll take Insta. But for the purposes of this class, I'm going to be using format of the phone since it is the most common that you're going to see here. And it's actually a little bit more easier to just take it in through the app rather than having to go in and log in on your web browser. So first off, how to use Instagram. So like we mentioned, it is visual storytelling. What can I do to be able to share stories through photos and videos? You want to make sure through that photo and through that video, you want to catch people's attention. Now, the main difference between Facebook and Instagram is that Instagram, you need a photo. You need a photo on Insta, or you need a video on to be able to post on Insta. We talked earlier about how the pages and the groups is more for discussion. Instagram is mainly visual. They're going to want to see you. They're going to want to see evidence. They're going to want to see your pictures. Just kind of like I took the LCI's Instagram and I looked at their posts. And as you can see right here, this is a perfect example of what you want to see. You want to see a picture of people smiling, clear faces, doing the product, and having fun. Richard's slogan is to have fun. We want to have big fun, so why not showcase it too? However, because Instagram is only available through pictures and videos, you have to take the picture. You have to use your phone for other than just calls or texts. Your phone has a little camera, so use it, leverage it. Don't be afraid to be like, hey guys, I'm going to take a quick picture of you guys so we can post on our Instagram. You have to be comfortable and you have to learn how to showcase that. So you have to take a picture. Essentially, the very most important step. Now, how do people find our content? So by content, I mean what we create. Whenever you hear the term content creator or the content that I just uploaded, it is what we created, our actual posts, our stories, what are in Instagram. So you scroll. For those that don't know, scrolling is the act of moving your finger through social media. So it's the equivalent of kind of like flipping through the magazine. You want to see everything on it. You want to be present on it and make sure you see it. Now, I told you about the lingo. So make sure you know this word, doom scrolling. Doom scrolling has become such a big word in my vocabulary personally and those around me too. Doom scrolling is the act of just scrolling without any purpose. No meaning, no nothing. You just go on Insta and you want to see every single post you can. You're just going and going and going until you're out of posts. That is why, because people go into Insta and into Facebook just to pass a good time and just to see what catches their eye, the more eye-catching your photo is, the more likely it is that people will actually stop. They're going to stop their scrolling to read about your post. So I'm not just saying that your photo is better than your content on what is written, but because of your photo, is that people are going to stop and they're going to read what you're actually posting. So you want to make sure that that photo is really eye-catching. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I get onto someone? How will someone find me? How will they see me? Where do I go? On Facebook, I just share a post and they find me. Well, Instagram is kind of a little bit of the same ways to be found. The first one is followers. So compared to Facebook, Instagram is actually only based on followers. And this means that you do not have to accept any friend requests from anyone. So it's not like a normal profile. It's not like a group on Facebook where you have to ask to join the group. Here, people just follow. So these are people who have decided to support you. They voluntarily went in and their purpose is to follow you. You could also do the followers of your followers. This is kind of like the concept of a friend of a friend. So because I support my friend, by essence, I'm going to end up supporting you because they support you. So we want to make sure that we showcase that purpose through your followers. Use your or network to expand and then bring more people in. You can also have community promotions. Community promotions come from project or community partnerships. For example, here in Arizona in the South Tucson Lions, we work a lot with the Sunnyside District. So I might go on Instagram and reach out to the Sunnyside District, which is our education, one of the South Tucson education districts. I might reach out to them and be like, hey, can you go ahead and post me? Can you repost me so I can reach more network? And they'll go ahead and do that if they can, if it's a possibility. But leverage those things, those networks that you have through the projects that you've already created and the community partnerships that you have and that you're continuing to have. And lastly, you could also have paid promotions. So kind of like on Facebook, on Instagram, you can actually advertise around your area. So you can focus geographically, or you can focus by, well, in essence, geographically, but you can advertise. So you can pay for advertising, and they'll basically put you on someone's scroll. But we're going to get deeper into each of these ones so we can really understand. Okay, so first off, followers. Like I said, I'm going to be using the South Tucson Lions Instagram. If you have Instagram, you can go ahead and follow us. But as you can see, you want to reach an audience. And one of the main things that I saw when I gained access to the South Tucson Instagram is that, as you can see, we have 12 followers. And we are only following one of those 12 followers. And I actually went in there and it wasn't even someone that was following us back. We're just following LCI. But when someone follows you, it means that they will see your posts regularly. So of course, the more followers you have, the bigger your audience, the bigger your supporters and your community partners. But one thing I really wanted to point out here is that there is no shame on a follow for follow. So if you go out into the community and you're like, hey, you find a community partner, or you find a donor, or a volunteer that is super committed to our mission, you can definitely follow and ask them to follow you back. This is how you grow your network. If we go back to it, the aspect of social media, it still has social in the title. So we're trying to make this social. We're trying to make this interactive. It's kind of like if I had a conversation with someone and they didn't respond to my conversation. No, I want to be your friend. I want to leverage the network that we have so we can grow together. So you can be a part of my club, you can be a part of my projects, and then I can show the impact that you're leaving too. It's a two-way communication street. Just because it's online, it doesn't really mean that it's just showing, it's also receiving. We're getting those people and we're growing our network, which is really important to have. So that's why you need more followers. Now, how do I get these followers? Where do I look for them? How do I go out and seek? Well, like we mentioned, you can take leverage of the organizations that you have. And a key thing about the Instagram feature and Facebook also has this too, is that you can broadly search. You don't have to search specifically for, like, for example, if I went and wanted to reach out to someone from the Chandler Club, I don't just have to search Chandler Club of Chandler Lions Club. I can actually just do a broad search and search the Lions Club or community service in my area, which is Tucson, Arizona. And these are going to pop up. You're going to see a ton of things coming in. You see different types of Leo clubs, even in different languages. It's not only based on your area, it's based on the essence of what you're searching for. So I searched Lions Club, it gave me Lions Club. I searched community service in Tucson, Arizona. It gave me a more narrow and more niche way to get into what is going on around my area. So this can even help you learn about organizations that you could potentially reach out to work together on a project. Maybe there's an organization out in your area that you don't know about or that you have never seen before. And you want to expand your projects, you want to expand your reach. So you can leverage this tool to be able to find those things on Instagram or on Facebook. All of this, you'll connect with them. And once again, you'll grow your network. It's just all a chain reaction. Another way to do promotion on your club, there's a couple of features that are both on Instagram and Facebook once again, but these are used mostly on Instagram. First, we have the hashtag. If you heard about the hashtag before, it is a place, it's kind of like a tag that you add, and you create a space that other people can look for. So like, for example, in the LCI Insta, you see Lions hashtag, Lions for Mental Health. If you click on that, because it's blue, that means that you can click on it. When you click on that, it's going to take you directly to a site, still on Instagram, where you can see the different posts that have linked to that. So like, for example, you can do hashtag community service and it'll bring up a couple of pictures of people doing community service, or you could do hashtag we serve, our motto, and you'll mostly see lions come in. So it's kind of like for catchphrases, or if you're part of a movement, you can also use this kind of like the Lions for Mental Health. That is a movement. So it's people that have posted about these movements and that relate their posts to the movement. Another thing you could do is repost. So Instagram and Facebook don't only have posts, but they have reels as well. Reels are kind of like, if you're on TikTok, this is kind of like the TikTok of Instagram and Facebook. These are called reels. So through the reels, you can definitely repost from others that you see. And this is a great way to keep creating that interaction. As you can see, LCI reposted from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and it's global. It's not just in your area. So you can definitely leverage that. And the last thing is collaborating. So collaborating is kind of different from tagging on Facebook. Collaborating is builds up a little bit more your credibility when when you're doing a project with someone or you want to add someone to your posts. So this, in essence, when you tag someone on Facebook, it kind of doesn't ask them for permission. It just tags them on it and it posts on their file, but it doesn't really show to the public audience. It's more so for their friends. And collaborating on Instagram, it actually shows on your feed. So your feed is like your main page. And it shows on it, and people have to accept the collaboration, which actually builds more credibility. And let's say, for example, going back to the Sunnyside District example, if I collaborate with Sunnyside District and they accept, that gives me more credibility to be able to say, oh, they actually exist, or their network can be like, oh, they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing, and see them on their page, which then would lead us to our page. Now, the last one is to promoting your club is advertising. You are able to buy ads. So if you're not getting enough promotion through the friend of a friend or looking for the organizations that you want to work with or with projects, you can buy ads. So as anywhere else, ads are used to spread awareness, and we usually say that it's for a specific project or a specific event or a fundraiser. That way you can promote that specific thing that is happening around your area. So this is to reach people that don't already follow you, but the algorithm of Instagram has seen that it might be relevant to the follower, and therefore they can see it on their feed without even following you. The only thing with this is that, just FYI, that means for your information, prices are not a fixed amount. So it's not like you can buy an ad for $10, $15. The ads on Instagram are per click, per view, per action, which means how many people click it or how many people see it. But that also means that you could spend as little as $5 to test it out and see the engagement it brings you. So that is another resource. And Insta is really cool. I really like it. I spend over 3 hours or on average on Instagram. But some other key features of it are we have stories, and you have these on Facebook too. So it's not just telling a story. It doesn't mean that, but it's a term for a picture or a video that disappears after 24 hours. So the difference between Instagram and Facebook is that on Instagram, you can only repost onto stories. So on Facebook, you can repost and see it on your feed. On Instagram, you can only repost to your story, which gives the audience 24 hours to see your content on someone else's. Business account tools. So right now we're going to touch on creating an Instagram, but the business account is what you're going to want to have for your club. You can use it to check engagement. So see how many people viewed or clicked on your post, and how much traction it's actually getting. So you can compare and contrast the content that you're publishing to be able to see. And there's also buttons on your profile where you can add your email, or they can go to directly to your page and email you directly. No need to leave the app at all to be able to contact your club. And the last thing is sharing. So the good thing about it is having a hub of links on your profile. So if someone looks you up on Instagram, they can directly go to your Facebook page, or they can go to your web page, or they can go to other pages that are related to your club. So if you want to showcase something that is on the web, you can put it on your profile on Instagram. You could also get a personalized QR code to share physically with other people or online, that links directly to your page, and you get it straight from Instagram. Or once again, hashtags and reposting, which allow for that traction. Now, how to create an Insta profile. And I don't know why this is blank. I am sorry about that. But you will get these slides at the end of the presentation when you get the video. So just be on the lookout for that. But this is creating an Instagram profile. See, even I deal with technical difficulties. I might not know everything. So this is how you create an Instagram profile. You download the app, you follow through the steps. So create a username, create a password, add a phone number. If your club has a email account, you can use that to create the Instagram profile. And after you've gone through all those steps, welcome to Insta. You are now part of Insta. Once again, these are all blank. Do you all see them as blank, or am I the only one seeing them as blank?
They're blank.
Okay. I am so sorry about that. I don't know why. I checked it before. But okay, so you're gonna get this in your email. But you're basically gonna go step by step customizing your profile. And I think I have some. Okay. So one of the questions it's gonna ask you is what best describes you. You can go ahead and click community. This is a important key aspect of it, because it links your pages, and the algorithm of Instagram in the back end is running, and it'll allow for other people that are looking for community to see you. So describing yourself is essential. And then we talked a little bit about what type of professional are you. You want to be a business. This is a key step, because being a business will allow you to connect to your Facebook page. So you want to make sure that you click that. Then it's going to ask you directly while you're customizing your profile if you want to connect to Facebook. But something is happening in the back end. If you try it in the near future, Instagram is having a couple of problems, but it's okay. Like we said, tech isn't perfect. So right now it's not going according to plan, but it's okay. We follow through, and you can also log in through your Facebook page. And then once you have that, you have your Insta page. Now connecting through Facebook. So being part of that metaverse, being part under that umbrella. So on Facebook, you're going to want to go to your settings, linked accounts, and select Instagram. Then you're going to go through all the processes, and you're going to be able to finally connect the account. And after that, it's going to ask you to log in. You're going to have your password. You're going to remember your password. You're going to remember your email, and you're going to be connected. Now you have your Facebook page and your Instagram account connected. Now, what does this mean? What benefits does it bring? You are going to be able to do cross posting. So if you post on Instagram at the same time, it's going to post on Facebook, and you're going to be able to leverage the network that you have on Facebook already to bring into Instagram. So it's a couple of things that just juxtapose that is a little bit easier and makes it simultaneous. Now, it might ask you to confirm if it is actually you signing into your Instagram page. So you're going to want to go back to Instagram and just confirm, and you're connected. Okay, well, that was the bit of blurb on Instagram. But overall, how can you make your club work online? So you're gonna go ahead. First off, this is an example of an online schedule. So how am I gonna go from actually creating a page to gaining those followers and gaining that traction? So first off, you're gonna choose a picture and create a design. So make sure the picture is clear, consistent, and that it explains what you're doing. Make sure it's relevant to what you're doing. Don't just post something that doesn't go along with the project that you're working on, or that doesn't go along with your club, because it's going to catch that attention. And then comes writing an effective copy. So keep your message short. On average, a person reads the first 5 words of the post that you write out. If it doesn't catch the eye in the first 5 words, I'm not going to read a whole paragraph of what you're telling me. It has to have a hook, and it has to have something that keeps me going. It has to also be friendly. This is a conversation. Once again, it's social. So it's not just that we're on a computer or on a phone, but you want to make it friendly and inviting. Then comes the hard part, uploading the content. You can't just take the picture if you're not going to show what you're doing. So you're going to post it on your Facebook page, and once you post it on Facebook, it'll post on Instagram. So everybody can see, and you can gain traction through that way. Finally, the 2 bullet points are connecting with followers and choosing testimonials. I like to say these 2 together to be able to talk about increasing the network. So it's a 2-way conversation once again, y'all. You have to reply to comments, say thank you, and share back. Social media is for that. It's kind of like if you were talking to someone and they didn't respond. Wouldn't that be rude a little bit? Yeah. So just connect with your followers. You're here to show who you are, and you have to be proud of that. You have to let them feel what you're feeling. You have to show that impact and tell them why it's important to you. And choosing testimonials is something that I really like, because it also allows other people to help you with the work. So share quotes, share stories, or notes from members of the community. This builds trust. This allows people to say, you know what, they're credible, and other people are talking good about them. So why don't I believe it? Why don't I become a part of it? So it definitely allows others to feel what you're feeling and grow. So I have been talking a lot, and thank you for sticking with me. You are going to get these slides, and these are other resources to be able to go in and learn how to create an Instagram, how to create a Facebook, and navigate through it. Even 5 steps to grow on Instagram and how to add an ad, if that was something that you would want to do. So if you're sick and tired of hearing me talking, you can definitely go onto these different links. They're mostly YouTube videos, so you might still hear a young person talking a lot, but it might also allow you to slow down a little bit and understand what is going on and how to follow something. So definitely recommend taking a look at those. But with that, I just want to say thank you all for listening to me. Like I said, I really enjoy sharing and learning together. Muchas gracias. And I haven't been monitoring the chat, so I don't know if there's a couple of questions, but I know Richard and I talked about having a couple of minutes for questions as well. So if you do, you can go ahead and But thank you all.
Before we do that, what I would like to do is take a photograph of everybody. If you can drop your slides, and we'll get a picture of everybody.
Okay, let me stop the share. That work?
Oh, I've got a good picture of you.
Oh, I am pinned. There we go. Now I see everybody's faces. Hi, everybody. I was just seeing myself for the last hour, and I was like, I want to see those faces too.
Okay, everybody look at your camera. Don't look at the screen. Look at your camera with a big smile. I'm going to do it again. Here we go. Thank you so much. Now, do you want to get a glass of water, Carla, for a second? We're gonna open the floor up to questions. This is the chance you get to ask your questions of experts. We have both Pratik and Carla here, so we have more expertise than you could possibly need. Go ahead and ask your questions. You can do so verbally. Just go ahead and open your, let's see, we'll figure out how to get you off of, how do I get everybody off of mute there, Pratik?
They should be able to unmute themselves.
Perfect. Just unmute yourself and ask a question, one person at a time, and we'll do our best to answer it. Silence.
While people are waiting, it was such a good presentation. I know there's very limited questions. There were some that came in the chat earlier that I responded to, but I'll just go over them quickly so people have some time to think of other questions. The first one that I saw was about copyright or trademark infringement when using social media and sharing posts. For the most part, and this will vary by jurisdiction, as long as you are using the built-in functionality in Facebook and Instagram to share the posts that exist, there is no copyright infringement because you are not copying an image, you are redistributing and linking to the original image. Outside of that, if you're posting new content, if you're downloading content from other people and reposting it, just make sure you're following the LCI brand guidelines and you're getting permission from those that you're taking the image from when you're posting. And when in doubt, check with your local jurisdiction. I am not a lawyer. Carla's not a lawyer. Richard's not a lawyer. And we are all in one state. So that was question number one. The next question I saw was about posting to both Instagram and Facebook at the same time. This is a feature that Meta allows you to do when the accounts are connected. Carla kind of hinted at this, and I know that some of the links that will be shared out later also go into explicitly how to do this. This changes quite frequently, so it's kind of hard to show you because it's changing. But as of today, because I just did one today, once your accounts are linked in the Meta Business Suite, you are able to go and create a post in the Meta Business Suite and say, I would like to share it on either my Facebook or my Instagram or both. So this will allow you to only create the post once and share it to all the platforms, which should help keep things one in sync and two a little bit easier. Those were the two questions I saw in chat.
Paula, I know you have a question. Go for it.
I do not have a question. I am good today. She did a fabulous job. Thank you so very much for your time.
Wonderful job. Someone, Tammy, you must have a question.
I do see one from Crystal. This is a really good question. And to reiterate, it's are Lions pages created under personal accounts of Lions, or is it a separate account for the club necessary to create the page? Facebook has done something really nice, which is you as an individual will initially create the page, but that does not mean that the page is yours. Instead, the page is its own separate entity, which you can add and remove administrators to as needed. What that means is you don't need to keep track of a separate login. You don't have to keep track of a separate username or password. I, Pratik Panda, can create a Facebook page and I can say, oh, I want Richard to be able to add to that. Let me just add his personal account as an administrator. And that way, if I decide to leave or go do something else, Richard can continue doing that and add more people as needed. Does that answer the question?
I would add that any page of any social media you're doing for your club, you should have a minimum of 3 people who have full access to it, because someone's going to leave the club, and when they do, you need to be able to continue on. This is why we find so many dead Facebook pages out there for Lions clubs, and the Lions Club then can't get back in, so they create a new page. That's not helpful when you're trying to gain followers.
It's a very important point. Make sure you have a lot of people that have access, because Facebook and Meta have made it very clear. Uh, them keeping track of who should own a page is very difficult. So they have said if you lose access, there's no appeal process to get access back. You are out of luck. So make sure you have enough people added. So even if people leave or something happens, there's at least someone you can go to hopefully get access to the account.
Even if they don't know how to use the platform, they can at least have the access and someone else can help them go into it. For example, whenever I open a page, I have my wife be an additional person who has full access, and that way I can go into on her computer and go ahead and make changes if for some reason I can't get in my own or someone else could help. I would like to make a comment about photos. Everyone has a phone. Everyone can take photos. And we find that people go to service events and come back and say, we had a wonderful time, but I didn't take any photos. I forgot. And I'm looking at some folks here who are smiling, but we all have phones, and it don't cost nothing to take photos. The film's free. Take a whole bunch of photos, because trust me, and when I take 100 photos of an event, there's 3 or 4 that I can use, or maybe 5 or 6. A lot of the photos are junk. They got the back of people's heads, their eyes are closed, their mouth is open, and try to figure out how you're going to take the photo. Taking the picture of the back of a whole bunch of heads is not what you want. You need to think about the photo and then take a number of them. And then when you get home, edit them, and you'll find one photo. Having a post with 47 photos on it, no one's going to look at. You want one good photo and then good copy, and that's all you want.
There's a little bit of conversation back and forth in the chat if you're not following, but I thought it would be important to point out on the administrators on the page. So it is really important that even though you can't have no limit on the amount of admins that you have on your Facebook page, to be consistent with your brand by only allowing a certain amount of admins. You don't want to have your whole club putting in a hand into your page. You want to make sure that it's all consistent and that it makes sense to stay with what your club wants to show.
Post good posts. Avoid bad posts.
Yeah. And hinting on the picture that you were talking about, Richard, I just want to reiterate a little bit that the picture is what catches people's attention. So you really want to make sure that you're not just taking posts. Yes, I'm using my phone to take a post of the group, but is the group actually all looking at the camera? Are we seeing the faces? Are we seeing how they feel through the picture? So it is really important to take a good picture rather than just take a picture.
And a big thing you're selling is feeling, emotion. How does a picture make you feel? And when you see the right picture and it makes you feel warm, you say, I want to read what that copy is. And when that copy says, we're the Lions Club and you can feel this way too, then people are going to be interested in seeing what you do. Starting out by talking about 1.4 million lions is not going to work. And that's that storytelling that's so important. The best storytellers can grab your heart and make you really want to join up.
I'd like to say something vocally instead of trying to type it in, if I might.
Go for it, Lori.
Okay. I regularly use the Market to Grow feature on Lions Virtual to create our Facebook posts based on the information that I want to get out. And it asks me if it wants to, in addition to the Facebook post, create an Instagram post and then also a LinkedIn post. They're all drastically different. So is it better to post each one individually that's designed specifically for that platform? Or should I link it and have it automatically transfer over?
I really like this question. I think that it's not as simple, it's not just a dichotomy. Is it better to have individualized posts than the same one on different platforms? Yes, but I would argue that that is not the choice that most clubs are facing. The choice is, do we only post on one platform or do we post on multiple platforms? And if that's the difficulty you're having, I would argue that having the same post on all platforms is better than having one post on one platform, even though it might be suboptimal to have a Facebook style post on Instagram.
I think that's a wonderful answer, because the question that clubs are facing is, how many hours a day do I want to spend on this topic versus doing other things in my life? You can be on 47 platforms, but there's a declining benefit to them. And what I think, the person who's going to do this in your club, I think 2 platforms based on doing it once is about as much as you can hope for, because remember, they're still editing photos, writing copy, and a whole lot of other things. But Lori, I think if you're going to run 3 platforms, that's a great way to do it. What she's talking about on Lions Virtual is using ChatGPT that Daniel Marnie Elkins has come up with, and that's another class, and it's the way I write all my copy for all my Facebook posts, all my emails, all my documents, everything, as I go through ChatGPT, and I might write it first, but I have it do all the editing and changing things and changing the thoughts on it. So great question. Thank you, Lori. Nice to see you again, Lori. We haven't seen much of you.
Yeah, nice to talk to everybody and see everybody also.
I think we've just about covered everything. Unless we have one more question, I think we'll just call it a night. I think Carla did a wonderful job tonight. And I have to say, Pratik, you added a great deal of value. Thank you both. And thank everyone for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for being Lions. And thank you all for following our various pages. And we'll probably do more of these in the future. And we hope to see you again. If you have any questions at all about this, you can go on the Global Lions Forum and just ask the question, and I'll see it, and we'll be able to answer it. And maybe it'll give us some ideas about more of these kinds of things. So, if no more questions, we'll call it a night. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Bye, Paula.
Thank you, everybody.